fiance lifting update. Even she started on the program.
We tuned up her squat a little bit.
Yeah. Grant was very nice, and he helped her with her squat form, which I was very appreciative of, because I try to help out, but I'm not a coach.
There's a place to take some weight off the bar. In her case, she was doing a weight that was pretty heavy, but then the number one mistake that I see with people squatting, or I would say probably the most important after bar placement, because bar placement is going to dictate the whole thing, but it's the ability to actually think about using your hips versus lifting your back. And if the load is heavy, people want they want to be back standing up. And so the brain says, just lift my chest up and get upright. I don't care what it looks like. I just want to be upright and I want it to be over. It's more important to learn on the front end how to do things correctly, because this is not rocket science. This is not that hard. I don't think you need a coach for your entire life. But the truth of the matter is, and this is coming from a guy that sells a coaching service, is if I'm any good at what I do, I should give you the tools to be able to help yourself over the long term. I want you to be able to walk to your squat rack yourself, unrack it, know how to hit depth, and know how to drive your hips out of the bottom. So spend the money, spend the time up front learning how to do this, because otherwise it can be frustrating, because you will make progress. You will read a book like Starting Strength, or maybe Strong Lifts, or Jim Wendler's 531, or whatever it is. And you'll start doing these lifts and you'll start adding weight, and you're adding weight and you're adding weight and you're training yourself, which is great. You're still better off than doing nothing. And then you go, man, something hurts. Something's off. I'm watching the video. I'm not squatting depth. I better get a coach. You come in and get the coach, and I start coaching you correctly. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say, take weight off. And it's usually something like, you're not hitting depth in the squat, or you don't know how to drive your hips. In PJ's fiance situation, she was doing fine. She was working very hard, like limit sets of 5. But I said, hey, we're not trying to set a powerlifting competition here. We're trying to get stronger for general health. Take 15 pounds off your squat, implement these new things, and then make small jumps and go forward. Yeah. Anyway, but I think you did a pretty good job on getting her. I mean, you definitely taught her how to work hard. Like, that was a pretty tough set.
That was, I don't know, that might just be kind of built in, but you gave her 2 pieces of advice that I didn't expect you to give. One, drop the weight back down and learn correctly, which is not something I feel like I hear a lot of starting strength coaches say. And then the other thing is, you said take smaller jumps going forward.
Yeah. I mean, I think in her particular circumstance, like, so she was a little bit above parallel, but she was all chest out of the bottom.
Yeah.
Even though she was working hard. And so if you are at maximal loads trying to learn a new thing, it's very difficult.
Yeah. It is.
Like, you can't think, you can't process. And so, and for the listeners, we're talking, she was squatting 115. I told her to go back down to 100. Just so she could process that. And if you think about it, that may not sound like, 15 pounds, that's not much.
Relatively, though.
I mean, what's that percentage, math in public? 15%?
Yeah, a little less than 15%. Yeah. And she's the context here, I think she weighs 105 or something. Yeah,
there you go. She's very thin. So, and that's exactly what my point was like, hey, take the weight off. You're still squatting relatively body weight, and then make small jumps. And people often scoff at the small plates